big topic, and we
Yeah.
talked a little bit before, and I showed
Yeah.
you some examples.
Yeah.
AI,
Yeah, man.
AI and songwriting. As a producer, I often now more and more get the question of like, oh, AI is gonna take over your job, and I'm like, yeah, well, first of all, I can still make music. That's
Yeah.
always my first defense. Like, the second is, yeah, making money off music and different is going to change, and I think it's going to change a lot. But creatively, AI is going to change a lot, and I think from what I've seen now with some like AI things, it's you write 2 words and it writes an entire song,
Yeah.
which is a bunch of gibberish sometimes, but also a lot of melodies and chords and everything. Some of it's really
Sounds
good,
solid. Yeah.
really catchy, and it sounds good. Do you see this as a threat, or yeah, how do you feel about AI?
I think it's very it's got two sides, to be honest. I try to get along with it as much as possible. I am not really a person that would fill in a prompt and write me a whole song. That's just not the way I liked it, because then I'll probably lose the fun in my job. I'm not saying like eventually someone is taking over my job, because I will always be able, like you say, to do what I love, and no robot is going to take that away from me. Um, so I try, like, for example, like ChatGPT. I sometimes use it, like, not even to write me lyrics, but just like get me rhyme words, or get me like a specific kind of rhyming a scheme, or
like practical things.
yeah, practical things. I mean, I don't know if I should use it more, but I feel like I use it whenever I feel like using it, and it could definitely be beneficial. But on the other side, it's also like a lot of people say like it's very scary because it's becoming way more real. I don't know if you heard about the Odessa album that dropped.
No.
Odessa didn't release any music, but there was a whole album of Odessa created by AI. So someone else uploaded that illegally, fraudulently, and
Wow.
and it was on the news like yesterday. So that's also a scary part, because people believed it was Odessa
Because it sounds like
it sounds like it, and no one's gonna ask questions. Everyone's like, "Damn, they just released a whole album," you know.
Wow.
But that's the whole thing about it, which I think it's not necessarily like the robots or the intelligence taking over. It's like the things you can do with it. Like if it's in the wrong hands, it could go to a different place. That's why I believe like the head of AI of Google that resigned like a couple of years ago, because he said like the intelligence is more intelligent than people now, and it will become more intelligent. That's a scary thing. I think that's something that sometimes like frightens me a bit. Not that I will lose my job, but just like it will make some things lose their creativity and the preciousness of the craft, you know. Like I don't want to go to craft to go to waste. So it's very double. I use it, so maybe I'm biased as well, but it's like I use it sometimes because I think, look, yeah, it makes it some things a bit easier, but at the same time it's also scary because it's at the point where it's now, it's already super developed, and I can't imagine what it looks like in 20 years. Or even maybe 5 to 10.
Even a year.
Yeah.
Like if you look at how much it developed within a year, it's insane. So
I just talked to Firebeats. They're in the same building. But also they said there's this app, Suno, and they said like a year ago or something they checked it out, and it was all kind of like
it was
Dutch
okay.
didn't work. And then now I showed them some examples of what I've been trying out, and they're like, whoa, that really
I've been making the
so
jingles
fast
in Suno.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
With the podcast jingles, I've made them as well.
Yeah?
And
it's just one click, and like within 5 seconds you get a whole song, right? It's like,
But I think there's always going to be people who see easy money in it and are like gonna take over like lo-fi beats and make that and just like. But that I think that's something that has been happening to the music industry in general. There's people like, hey, this is an easier way for me to make money because I just manage an artist, and I think that's something where as a creative also you have to be aware of that. There's always going to be there's this big thing I shared the other day. I think it was Kate Nash who was like, I'm doing this tour and not making any money off it, and it's so hard to make money, and I'm doing all this promotion and whatever. And then it's like, I was kind of like, yeah, but you have to understand there are people at labels, they're making money and they don't really care about the artists. And why should they? It's like
they're running their business.
Yeah, but they're in the business of making money, of taking care of their family. So they're in a whole different business, and no one's out of pity gonna give you like money, like, oh, you're so good, and like, oh, I feel sad for you. Here's some of my money. That's at least not a big chunk, you know. You might give some, but that's something that's so like, as an artist, you have to be aware of. There's an industry that wants to make money off you, and that's totally fine. It's not scary, but just be aware of it so that you can utilize those channels to make your own income. I'd say that's
the
way
world is ever evolving, right? So right now with the virtue of AI, like that's a change that is coming, that's already here, and you as an artist have the task to adapt and to figure out how am I implementing this to remain how you say it, like as not essential, but like valid or whatever. I don't know, but relevant. And as a singer-songwriter, I can imagine that a part of the singer-songwriters might lose work because it can be done by AI, right? But I think what will remain is the fact that you as a person, the brand behind it, so your artist brand, that's a value. That's what people will come to see at shows. We don't go to an AI show. We don't want to see a computer singing.
They actually are doing that with the anime kind of.
It's true. But we still go to someone who creates that show. And I think with this as well, I can fall in love with a vocal from AI. Sure, that can happen. But can I become a fan of that?
I think
I think I can in some kind of way, because people are also fan of like AI models or whatever. But I think the value of having a person on stage going to a show of someone who has the skill and the craft, at least for the upcoming 10 years, will be a valuable thing.
Even writing the song, because there's just some feelings only humans can really express.
But that's what we've talked about. Like
exactly.
the way how a human delivers the message.
Yeah.
As soon as an AI is able to do that with emotions as well, then we're fucked. But until that moment,
but they can always only recreate. They can never like feel.
And it's too
never
perfect.
Say never.
I think.
But I'm sorry, AI, if you're listening, please.
Sorry, China. sorry.
No, but I think it's also like imperfection is such an important thing in your music.
Yeah.
And if you ask an AI bot, for example, to create a song and say like, I want it to be imperfect, the bot will have like what?
Well, the bot right now is just only neon skies, dancing under the neon skies. That's the only.
But obviously, that's gonna develop very fast, I think. But and what also has to do with your voice. Let's have Lewis Capaldi as an example. If I would have never seen Lewis Capaldi in real life as he is, as a person, his image, the way he presents himself, I would have never listened to his music probably. Even though I'm a big fan of him and also his voice, I think one of his biggest strengths is also his appearance.
Yeah,
he's this fun
personality.
guy.
Yeah.
He's got an honest personality. You can see through everything. He's not like putting up a show or whatever. Yeah. And that helps so much in being able to love an artist. So it's not only about voice. It's not only about that.
Authenticity behind it.
Yeah. And that's something AI can never create.
I want to say to producers, creators, everyone out there, this is because it's always like they're like, oh, we're songwriters, we're screwed, or we're producers, we're out of a job. And it's like, maybe you're not going to make money off it. You have to put that aside, that idea, but you can always create your own stuff.
I think,
but that's such a like big missed thing in all this, because it's like, yes, maybe AI puts me out of a job, but it will never take creating away from me. And that's something that I think is so important to.
Yeah, but the reason why people worry about it is because it takes their job.
Yeah, but you're not, I think as a creative, I'm very lucky, of course, but I never feel entitled to having an income out of this. And that's, I think, why the Kate Nash thing, I'm like, kind of like, yes, you make music. Yes, it resonates with people. but that still doesn't mean you're entitled to anything. Basically,
No,
I think
that's
that's something to realize as an artist.
Yeah.
I'm not entitled to make money off it. I'm just very lucky to and very blessed.
True.
But it might not always be.
Okay.